Picard Episode 2. Did the sequel let you down? Not me. Hey, it is Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek, coming at you right here from the heart of Trekland, letting the dust settle just a bit on all the new Star Trek headlines. So you don't get a quick take, you don't get a hot take, but you get a second opinion from Dr. Trek. Hey, I have been writing, editing, authoring, archiving, witnessing, interviewing, hosting, dot connecting, and, yes, fanning Star Trek for a long time now. And I just want to say, I was impressed with Disengage, the second episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3. What did you think? Now, I've seen some fans almost like they're still fighting. They're still resisting this urge to be totally won over. Of course, many are. Many still are looking for plot holes. They're a little upset about the continuity or some of the logic problems. I don't see that big a deal. People point to Captain Shaw here and wonder why he's reversing back and forth. Well, he keeps being presented with a set of different circumstances. I mean, you're going to quickly see that he's not a cardboard villain captain. He's not a Batmerl or a Bapton. No. He's shifting his point of view, as disgusted as he may be with that, as unresigned to it all as he might be, with a differing set of circumstances all the way through. Now, look, just some, that's just one of the few things. Now, everybody is having a ball with the Easter eggs, with the references. That's great. That's fine. The first thing that hit me was I love the flashback, and I love seeing Fenris Rangers. But the first thing I realize is, the proof's in the pudding here. You learn quickly that just as Picard is obviously not everybody's Starfleet officer, not every Fenris Ranger is Seven. And this guy, unnamed though he is, kind of proves that. I was afraid he was going to be bribed there for a minute, but no such luck. And then very quickly, speaking of Shaw, I love the scene where he dismisses Seven, and it sounds a lot like, it's very Kirk tone there. Friend David Goodman, Star Trek veteran himself, even compares it to a moment, I think in Turnabout Intruder, when Kirk has to dismiss McCoy twice. Kind of the same thing. But in this case, my take is, I love getting just a little bit of Voyager Era 7's raised eyebrows. Nobody beyond Spock does it better, especially because it's her, eye-implanted, accentuated eyebrow. That always helps. But what people have really seized upon for Easter eggs this week are those criminal reports on T'Lok and Sneed. And there's, yes, everything from Quark and Brunt and Thaddeus O'Connor and even Morn get mentioned in there. Now, that's, okay, fine, that's great. What I have not seen anyone discussing, though, are two other cool things. Number one, in the original one, we have Fen, who is a known associate. It's the first time a Vendorian has ever been named. The first proper name for a Vendorian, the shapeshifters from the animated episode, reborn again in Lower Decks. And no, Carter Winston doesn't count because that's the person he's identifying. He's the person who's identifying that Vendorian was overtaking. Fen of Vendor is the first time we get a proper name there. Same thing with a guy, apparently, named Felnor of Remus. Now, that's the first time we've ever actually had a proper named person identified as being from Remus. I mean, the first time we've had a Reman given a proper name, which is cool. Not in Nemesis and not since. Why is nobody jumping on this? I don't know. The really wacky Easter egg that people get, obviously, on the surface is the shuttle that Riker and Picard had been bopping around in, taken off of the Titan A. We see the blown, piece of shrapnel is Savick. So it was named for Savick. If you're watching your Instagram bits from the studio, following their account, that Savick was one of the earlier Titans captains. Now, what's wacky is in this Instagram, that's cool. Yay. But what's weird is her Titan launched in 2290 with her as captain. But if that's so, she had still been a lieutenant out of the academy in Star Trek 234, Wrath of Khan. When we last saw her, she was still a lieutenant. She went from lieutenant to captain in 4 years. Okay, we can point that out, but I'm not attacking it. I mean, take that, Kelvin Fake Kirk, Cadet Kirk. But no, if she became a captain in 4 years, there must have been some hell of a career-making moment for her in those 4 years. I mean, come on, gang. Texture, not trivia. It happened for a reason. It happened. And hey, speaking of Sneed, can I just say that it was awesome to see a Ferengi back in fur with his own non-military tattoo, being sleazy, totally getting it, and yeah, serving bottles of Sluggo Cola with a Tongo game over at the side. Not really on camera, but thank you, Day Blast, once again, and thank the Akutas, thank everybody who's sharing in their socials all these great shots from the sets, which it's not the first time in history all this lovely work was put into sets and props and, yeah, costuming, and then doesn't turn up on camera. So once again, I'm warning you, I'm advising you, if you really want to stay up on everything, follow these people's socials. We didn't have this in the Berman era, and you've got it now. But can I just say, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, or if it struck them the same way, can I just say the actor Aaron Stanford, who was playing Sneed, the minute he was on camera, the minute he opened his mouth, I thought, my God, we all miss Aaron Eisenberg. But if ever anyone in the Picard era of Star Trek storytelling wanted to bring back Nog as an older character, R.I.P. Aaron. My God, Aaron Stanford's the guy to do it. Did anybody else get Aaron Eisenberg vibes through his Ferengi performance? I mean, sure, he was like a dark side Ferengi, and Nog was blazing the trail as the up-and-up Ferengi who would actually make it in Starfleet. I don't know, I just got that vibe about him. Just, note to producers, note to self. You want to bring back Nog in a very Aaron Eisenbergly way, get this guy. Other thing that popped up for me, speaking of Sluggo Cola for Raffi, we meet Raffi's ex-husband. So you're telling me, and this has been set up, if not on screen, in the books, in Uma Makorba's book, you're telling me that her ex, the father of Gabe, her son, was not only an artist, but then or now he runs a bar. Okay, no shame in that, but he runs a bar and acquaints himself with criminals. So was this all after they separated? Did his life fall apart to some degree the way hers did? I'm having a hard time here thinking that a criminal known associate of these fellas was married at one time to Raffi when she was in the heart of her Starfleet career. And not only a seedy bar, but a bar on Metalis Prime in District 6, hanging around Sneed. Wow. And then we get Vadik. Now, yes, she's Christopher Plummer's daughter. Awesome. She animates the villain the same way he did. Has some interesting choices, yeah. Here's what I love. I love how she puts the final D in words, like hard. But then it's almost like a trademark. She insists on calling her adversary there, the Admiral, Jean-Luc Picard. And the final D disappears in her mock French. She does it over and over again. It's one of those things I think, if not from the script, then she's settled on it as an actress. I think it's awesome. Every time I wait to hear if she's going to put the D on. And she never lets me down, so far. And it's also great watching Vadik on that big screen when she's talking to the Titan. It's amazing when she's talking to the Titan and she's addressing Shaw and Picard from their angle. It's like an homage. It's totally a throwback to the huge view screen effect that Gene originally wanted in his revolutionary new designs, the technology unchained for the Enterprise D. Remember? In fact, the very first time they meet Ferengi is really one of the times it's really shown to great effect. Those Ferengi wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling, dwarfing the image of whoever's talking to them. You got that same effect with Vadik talking to Picard and to Shaw, and I just thought it was a wonderful little touch. Also, the fact that Sneed and his Ferengi smell is heightened. to compensate for the bad eyesight, same way their hearing was. Original note, original TNG bit that's actually picked up and used here. Very nice, Terry and Company. And oh my, that Beverly Picard look. I've seen some fans criticize why did Riker dope her up to drag her up to the bridge just so nothing could be said, just to finally convince Shaw to not give up Jack Crusher to Vadik. It totally makes no sense, but it is totally evocative of Scotty dragging his dead nephew all the way up to the bridge from sickbay before he takes him back down to sickbay. Makes no sense, but it's dramatic as hell. Can I just say also that Picard-Beverly first glance with the holy chorus effect, no less. I don't know. I thought after the events of Attached, they were no longer telepathically linked. I don't know what we're supposed to get out of that moment. It felt like it. They're just staring at each other with the holy chorus going. And Picard has always suspected that Jack was his son, or she's telepathically confirming it for him. Either way, I'm fine either way. And yeah, that's the reason why Shaw finally changes his mind, decides he has to turn around and fight here. But what a moment for all the folks waiting on a Beverly Picard moment lo these many decades. Speaking of music, wow, the homage to Craig Huxley's Wave Blaster, you know, the V'ger theme, the twangiest bass guitar chord you ever heard, used for V'ger, as well as the Nebula, the Mutar Nebula in Star Trek II. It's like it's the official musical instrument of Nebula entering. And I just love the little subtext going on here. Oh, and finally, not a slingshot round the sun, just that slingshot of a ship in battle. Wackiest use of a tractor beam ever, but so effective. It was visceral. You saw that thing slamming into the ship, and didn't you recoil a little bit? You couldn't help it. I mean, it was the most visceral moment since I read the script for Nemesis about not just the ramming, the Enterprise E's ramming of the scimitar, but the wrenching as it left and as it tried to back out. It was just so visceral to read that script when I got a chance to. Here, the thing was so maddeningly crazy in execution, and then to see the ship actually physically cut across. And to talk about shields being up and still there was thank you. Thank you, Helmsman LaForge, for giving us enough technobabble. Your dad would be proud to explain the whole thing away. And yeah, kudos to Shaw's. We're cornered in space, which has no corners. Best line of the night, maybe? I don't know. What do you think? So yes, I've seen people talking about Shaw and his switcheroo, but you know what's undermining? There's something out there, and Vadik gets him. She does her homework. She mentions something about his psych profile, and it's so nice that he's still functioning. I'm going to go out on a limb here. What we've been given so far, with him mumbling and griping under his breath about XBs and Locutus and his psych profile, I don't know. I just wonder if there's some kind of a Borg thing going on in his past. Just asking. But I definitely don't fault the writing or, oh my God, Todd Stashwick's performance. Todd Stashwick was at the premiere for Picard. He's on the cruise as I record this. People are just gushing. It's like people are talking about Shaw being the captain they love to hate, and Todd Stashwick being the newest member of the Trek family that they just love his wacky sense of humor. And gang, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. He's a big nerd, writing and performing. So you can also catch him on Terry's first big hit, 12 Monkeys. I'm telling you, there's a lot more to come from Todd, but also a lot more to come from Shaw. So there you go. I say one more time. I see Terry Twitter texting all weekend, just saying, keep watching, or throwing a few explanations out there. Dave Blass and a lot of the art department folks sharing photos from this shoot. Follow them on socials. You may get some of your questions answered, and you may get a lot of deep cut texture that you may not get on camera. But hey, it's Star Trek. that's the way it's always been. Yay. You want to know that those creatives are just packing it when they can, especially when you've got so many fanboys and fangirls on the staff of all the visual creatives, as well as the writer's room that we've got now. I can't wait for episode 3. How about you? Because you know what? That's it. I am signing off on this second opinion. But what about you? What did you think? Drop a comment below, and please like and subscribe. Let's boost the signal, okay? Hey, I dare you to subscribe for some Star Trek sanity. Most of all, if you crave more Dr. Trek and you appreciate our Trekland point of view, check out every one of my Trek podcasts and live streams and experiences over at LarryNemecek.com, okay? Trek well, everybody.